uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrorva kulanandana gandharyava mahabaho mushitosmi mahatmabhi. Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrorva kulanandana gandharyava mahabaho mushitosmi mahatmabhi. Everyone chant, please.
Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitro va kulanandana gandharyava mahabaho mushitosmi mahatmavi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavastitam putra var kulanandana gandharya va mahabaho musito asmi mahatmanabi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrorvaha kulanandana gandharya va mahabaho mushitosmi mahatmabhi. Hare Krishna.
Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrorva kulanandana gandharya mahabaho mushitosmi mahatmabhi.
Hare Krishna. Sanjay uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrorvaha kulanandana gandharyava mahabaho mushito asmi mahatmabhi. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Word for word translation. Sanjaya uvacha. Sanjaya said, na, not, aham, I, veda, no, vyavasitam, determination, pitro, of your uncles, va, your, kulanandana, O descendant of the Kuru dynasty, Gandharya, of Gandhari, va, or Mahabaho, O great king, Mushita, cheated, Asmi, I have been, Mahatmabhi, by those great souls. Translation. Sanjaya said, my dear descendant of the Kuru dynasty, I have no information of the determination of your two uncles and Gandhari. O king, I have been cheated by those great souls. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. That great souls cheat others may be astonishing to know, but it is a fact that great souls cheat others for a great cause. It is said that Lord Krishna also advised Yudhishthira to tell a lie before Dronacharya, and it was also for a great cause. The Lord wanted it, and therefore it was a great cause. Satisfaction of the Lord is the criterion of one who is bona fide, and the highest perfection of life is to satisfy the Lord by one's occupational duty. That is the verdict of Gita and Bhagavatam. Dhritarashtra and Vidura, followed by Gandhari, did not disclose their determination to Sanjaya, although he was constantly with Dhritarashtra as his personal assistant. Sanjaya never thought that Dhritarashtra could perform any act without consulting him. But Dhritarashtra's going away from home was so confidential that it could not be disclosed even to Sanjaya. Sanatana Goswami also cheated the keeper of the prison house while going away to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And similarly, Raghunath Das Goswami also cheated his priest and left home for good to satisfy the Lord. To satisfy the Lord, anything is good, for it is in relation with the absolute truth. We also had the same opportunity to cheat the family members and leave home to engage in the service of Srimad Bhagavatam. Such cheating was necessary for a great cause, and there is no loss for any party in such transcendental fraud. Sanjaya uvacha naham veda vyavasitam pitrurva kulanandana gandharyava mahabaho mushitosmi mahatma bhi. Sanjaya said, "My dear descendant of the Kuru dynasty, I have no information of the determination of your two uncles and Gandhari. O king, I have been cheated by those great souls." Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanivadi Paschadadi Shatarine. Hare Krishna. Another great verse and a very interesting purport by Srila Prabhupada. First, let's talk about Sanjaya himself a little, who he was, what he was, and his ability and his importance. Just like he was the one who gave us Bhagavad Gita, because he had that transcendental vision that within his heart and with his eyes, even though he wasn't present on the battlefield, he was able to see. He was granted the blessing by his spiritual master Vyasadeva that he could see all the activities of everyone on the battlefield of Kurukshetra anywhere. He could see anywhere on the battlefield. He could even see into the hearts to see the minds and the motivations of the persons involved. So he had that special vision. Prabhupada was in one conversation, I think it was a morning walk, and Dr. Singh, one guest, one friend, said, they now have things that they did not have before, like telephones, television, airplanes, missile, and many other new discoveries. Srila Prabhupada replied, but there are better telephones that they do not know about. In Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya demonstrated this when he was sitting with his master, Dhritarashtra, and relating all the affairs that were taking place far away on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Sanjaya's vision was actually greater than the telephone. It was mystic television. It was television within the heart, where he was sitting in a room far from the battlefield and still seeing everything that was occurring there. In Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra inquired of Sanjaya, how are my sons and nephews? What are they doing? Then Sanjaya described how Duryodhana was going to Dronacharya, what Dronacharya was speaking, how Duryodhana was replying, and so on. Even though these activities were too far away to be seen by ordinary eyes, Sanjaya could see and describe them through his mystic power. So this in itself is an amazing ability that Sanjaya had. And even this mystic vision, I mean, yogis can have this mystic vision. What Sanjaya had was more than that. It wasn't ordinary vision like we have with our eyes, that we could see a few feet in front of us, but we can't see what's happening behind us. We can't see what's happening in the next room. We can't see what's happening inside someone else's head. But beyond, so he had more than that ordinary vision, but he had even more than the mystic vision of great yogis, mundane yogis, who also can have a version of this. They can see what's happening far away. They can know what's happening in another room or in another place. Because the yogis, these mundane yogis, cannot see Krishna. They cannot see the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees by their mystic powers. That is not available to them. Bhagavad Gita says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samanvrita, that Krishna does not reveal himself to any and all people. Yogamaya samanvrita, he keeps himself and his pastimes and his activities and his qualities and his relationship with his devotees covered by his yogamaya energy that the yogis cannot pierce beyond. What to speak of an ordinary, man on the street or woman on the street, ordinary person can't see. Even big yogis cannot see. Mudoyam nabijanati lokoyam ajamavyayam. Mudoyam, these foolish people, including up to the yogis, they're excluded from seeing this. So the fact that Sanjaya could see this, can understand this and relate this, means he's not just a yogi. He didn't just get a blessing from Vyasadeva, but he's also great devotee. About the yogis, or about being able to see Krishna, Prabhupada says, this is from the purport to Naham Prakasha Sarvasha. Prabhupada writes in the beginning of the purport, it may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even big yogis, big kshatriyas, even Krishna was present on this earth, walking on this earth, decorating the earth with the marks of his lotus feet, or in Kurukshetra case, with the marks of his sandals or his shoes, decorating the earth with that mark, with that footprint. But people they were so-called seeing Krishna, but they weren't seeing Krishna because they could not understand who Krishna was. Oh, Krishna is some ordinary man, just like also Sanjaya. Sanjaya went at one earlier stage before the Battle of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra actually sent Sanjaya to try to negotiate some kind of peace with the Pandavas and with Krishna. And he went there and he talked to them, and he came back and he explained to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and the whole Kuru Sabha, the whole Kuru assembly. He said, you don't understand who Krishna and Arjuna is. Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna is his friend and his personal eternal associate. They're the same as Narayana Rishi, coming now as Krishna and Arjuna. Why are you trying to cheat them? Why are you trying to fight them? Why are you trying to oppose them? And the Kurus, for the most part, rejected that. And then after that, Krishna knew that Sanjaya's plea wouldn't work. So that's actually when Krishna himself went to Hastinapur and tried to make peace. And he displayed his universal form before Duryodhana and all the others there. And it didn't change Duryodhana's mind. He didn't think, oh, I see Krishna. This is Krishna. Not only Krishna, two-on form, but the universal form. So there's no mistake who he is, but still he wasn't actually seeing Krishna. Duryodhana saw Krishna, saw the universal form, but he wasn't seeing Krishna, because seeing Krishna means understanding who Krishna is. Seeing Krishna means serving Krishna, and seeing Krishna ultimately means loving Krishna. So from this we can understand the vision of Sanjaya, how advanced and important and qualified he was, not just with mystic power, but actually as a great surrendered devotee and disciple of Sanjaya. You may remember was it the previous chapter or the chapter before, when we were hearing about the glories of Parikshit? And there was some discussion about how Parikshit, we're so indebted to Parikshit because it's due to Parikshit's surrender and due to his particular situation and getting cursed and everything, that we're indebted to him, because that gave us Srimad Bhagavatam. So similarly, we're so indebted to Sanjaya because it's due to Sanjaya's mercy that we have Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is Sanjaya talking, explaining, we're hearing it from him. So as we're indebted to Parikshit for giving us Srimad Bhagavatam, as we're indebted to Vyasadeva for giving us Srimad Bhagavatam and all the scriptures. So similarly, how indebted are we to Sanjaya, that he gave us Bhagavad Gita? We have this jewel of Bhagavad Gita. The jewel in the center of Mahabharata was given to us by Sanjaya. So this is how amazing and important and great a person he is. And yet at the same time, he was so devoted and so in love with Dhritarashtra. And his whole life he served him. His background is that his father was a Sutta, mixed caste person, and he was a charioteer. There are different accounts in different places, but generally it says he was actually the charioteer for Dhritarashtra. So his son was also, therefore, his son, Sanjaya. His father's name was Gavalgana. So Sanjaya, he was also known as Gavalgani. So because his father was of this mixed race, mixed caste, so was he. But he was so qualified and such an excellent disciple personally of Vyasadeva himself, that he was accepted as a great soul, as a great sage. And because of the relationship of his father and Dhritarashtra, he also became a great friend and very devoted to Dhritarashtra, always his personal secretary, his personal assistant, his, you know how sometimes it's said like big businessmen, that that if they're in like a business meeting, they won't reveal their mind. But when they're in their car and the personal chauffeur is driving the car, then they'll be able to speak very freely and reveal their mind. So the charioteer is like the charioteer of the king, is like the chauffeur of the big businessman. So Dhritarashtra, because of that, he was able to have this friendship with the father, Gavalgana, and also he had this very close, intimate relationship with his son, Sanjaya. And he was able to speak very frankly and, intimately, and there was great love and great friendship between them. Despite Sanjaya knowing all Dharma and all religion and all spiritual principles and being a great devotee, but somehow he had this great friendship with Dhritarashtra and was very devoted to him. I can't understand. I don't understand why, for example, Balaram was, so devoted and such great friends with Duryodhana. It seemed Duryodhana, he's such a rascal, but Balaram loved him. So who can explain these things, these matters of the heart, that Sanjaya had this great love and great friendship with Dhritarashtra. So therefore, when Dhritarashtra disappears, it caused Sanjaya so much pain, even though leaving was the best thing for Dhritarashtra. We heard how Vidura is telling him, you go now. Don't wait a minute. Don't wait. What does we go? Don't wait tomorrow. Don't make a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a tomorrow plan. Don't make a 5-minute plan. Leave right now. Don't tell anyone. Don't make any preparation. Don't put your accounts in order. Don't, have a tearful last goodbye. Just go, split right now. Head for the forest. Your time is so short, and the little time you have left is so precious. You go right now. This was the perfect instruction of Vidura, and the absolute best thing for Dhritarashtra, given his degraded and fallen and uncomfortable and disreputable material condition. That was the best thing for him. And yet it still caused so much pain for Sanjaya, and we've also been hearing Yudhishthira and all of the members of the household, causing so much distress. So in that distress, naturally they thought, oh, let's go ask Sanjaya. Sanjaya is the closest of all to Dhritarashtra. He'll certainly know what happened. Because we heard how they were speculating, oh, maybe this happened. Maybe he went to commit suicide in the river because Yudhishthira offended him or whatever. So let's go ask Sanjaya. Certainly he'll know. But Dhritarashtra, his determination was so strong, he followed Vidura's instruction and left, didn't even tell Sanjaya. That's the word of the verse. What is that? Naham Veda Vyavasitam. Naham Veda means I do not know, and Vyavasitam means his determination. I don't know his determination, what he determined. Just like we have Vyava, this word Vyavasita, Vyavasayatmaka Buddhir Ekeha Gurunandana. Vyavasayatmaka means the determination of the self. Vyavasa Atmaka. And of course, in Bhagavad Gita, it's talking Ekeha Gurunandana, that one, that focused determination, that singular focused determination to surrender to Krishna, to serve Krishna, to worship Krishna. So similarly, Vyavasita, that Dhritarashtra also had this great determination, but Sanjaya, I don't know what his determination was. I don't know anything about it. And it caused him such pain. Mushito Smi Mahatma Bi, these great souls, all of them, plural, great souls, Dhritarashtra and Vidura and Mother Gandhari. These great souls have cheated me. I've been cheated. So this is how Sanjaya was feeling. And Prabhupada examines this. Actually, before I get to that, I did want to touch on this one thing, that in the purport, Prabhupada has an asterisk, and at the bottom of the page, a footnote. This is pretty rare. I think he does it just a single-digit number of times in the whole Bhagavatam where Prabhupada adds a footnote. But he does it here. He's saying that the highest perfection of life is to satisfy the Lord by one's occupational duty. This is the verdict of Gita and Bhagavatam. And he felt it important enough to actually give an example from the Gita and from the Bhagavatam. And at the bottom of the page, he quotes these verses. The first one is Bhagavad Gita 18:46. Yata pravityar bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanyat karmanatam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manasha. And the translation of that is, I think I have it marked here. Yes. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Yata pravityar bhutanam. Everything is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Everything is belonging to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Everything is pervaded and by Krishna and part of Krishna's energy. So when you understand that, swakarmanatam abhyarchya. Swakarmana, by your own work, abhyarcha. That through your work, abhyarcha, archa means worship. You're worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through your work. Siddhim vindati manava. Through that process, a man can attain perfection. Now, this idea taken from Bhagavad Gita, that, oh, you do your duty. This is very popular in Indian culture, that you do your duty. And people misunderstand this and they say, oh, I go to work every day and I come home and I'm supporting my family. I'm doing my duty, so I'm following Bhagavad Gita. Or I'm doing this political duty or family duty or business duty, and that means I'm following Bhagavad Gita. But this is not the understanding we get here. Swakarmanatam abhyarchya. That through that work, you have to actually be worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not just you do your duty, bam, and it ends there. You did your duty. I did, I went to work and I come back and I'm, supporting my family. No, through that, you have to actually be worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means you have to be practicing Krishna consciousness in your family. You have to be you should be to some degree, as far as possible, using the fruits of your work to support Krishna consciousness, either in your home or by serving the devotees with that money, or by serving Prabhupada's movement with that money, with at least a percentage of that money. It has to actually be worship, not just do your duty, meaning do your mundane work. That is not what this verse means. And the other verse that Prabhupada quotes is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Atak pumbir dvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanushtitasya dharmasya samsidhir haritoshanam. That atak pumbir dvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha. Oh, best of the brahmanas, by your work, by your engagement in varnashram dharma means specifically varnashram dharma with 4 varnas and 4 ashrams, or we could take it as swadharma, that whatever your duty is, whatever your work is, whatever your duty is in life. Swanustitasya dharmasya samsidhir haritoshanam. That the purpose of this, the perfection of doing your duty, is that you are pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's not just doing your duty, doing your work. I'm working hard like an ass, so that means I'm following Bhagavad Gita. No, through that work, either directly through that work or indirectly through the fruits of that work, you have to be worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And again, either through that work or the fruits of that work, you have to see that you're actually pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Prabhupada says, and if you're doing that, if you're actually on that position, that all your work is devoted to Krishna and pleasing Krishna and only serving Krishna, then even your cheating is glorious. And he gives the examples, the famous examples of Krishna telling Yudhishthira, say that, don't tell me, it's on the tip of my tongue. Ashwatthama, yes. Telling him, say that Ashwatthama is dead, because everyone knows that Yudhishthira was so famous for his truthfulness that he could never tell a lie. So Krishna tells him, you say Ashwatthama is dead. In other words, he's asking him to cheat. And Yudhishthira didn't want to do that. But Yudhishthira did it for the sake of Krishna. There's the story, the popular story. I'm not sure if this is actually in Mahabharata or if it's just popular story. It said that Yudhishthira's chariot, he was so blessed that his chariot, as it was roaming on the battlefield, that the wheels of his chariot would not even be touching the ground, because he was so pious and so perfect in Dharma. But that after he told that lie that Ashwatthama is dead, and of course when his father Dronacharya heard that Ashwatthama, his son, was dead, he became so despondent and he gave up the fight and he sat down to meditate, and thus he could be killed. And some say, and it said that after he told that lie, that his chariot, which used to float above the ground, now rode on the ground like an ordinary chariot. And some people say, oh, because he told a lie, his chariot no longer floats in the air, but instead settles on the ground like a mundane chariot. But the Vaishnavas understand and explain that no, it's because he hesitated to follow Krishna's instruction that his chariot, not because he lied, but because he hesitated to lie. He hesitated to cheat. And now is his fault that made his chariot go from this magical device to an ordinary chariot. What were the other examples he gave? Oh, in connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami cheating to get out of prison, telling the prison guard, oh, I'm going on pilgrimage to Mecca and you could have so much wealth I'll give you so much wealth if you let me go. So he cheated like that to escape from prison so he could join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Raghunath Goswami cheating his priest, telling his priest, oh, I'm just going, oh, it's late. He had tried to escape so many times, and his family kept on catching him and kidnapping him and bringing him back home. And he had their family guru, can't remember the name, but the family guru was actually, his charge was to keep an eye on Raghunath, don't let him escape. So one day late at night, It was late at night, and this guru was supposed to be watching Raghunath. Raghunath said, "Oh, it's late. You go to sleep. I'm going home." But instead, when his guru left from watching him, he ran away, and he ran back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ran off to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this cheating is there. And even Prabhupada himself gives the example of himself. We talked about this at least two, 3, 4 times in the past few weeks about Prabhupada taking sannyas, how his wife was not that helpful. And Prabhupada wanted them to give up drinking tea and asked his wife to give up drinking tea repeatedly, and she refused. And then he said, tea or me? And his wife said, jokingly, as husband and wife will sometimes joke, said, "Oh, tea and me, tea or you, I guess I'll have to give up my husband." And then shortly thereafter, Prabhupada cheated them. He left. He just left, got on a train and left, and began his Vanaprastha life, and then his sannyas life, and then his ISKCON life, coming here and starting this great movement. All because he, stemming from that cheating his family. And his son later told him, he said, "When you left, it was like a thunderbolt for us." So this cheating is going on. But of course, we can't misunderstand that this is for extreme circumstances and for persons who are so devoted. What is this? Satisfaction of the Lord is the criterion of one who is bona fide, and the highest perfection of life is to satisfy the Lord by one's occupational duty. So only the person who is at the topmost level of this actually can do this so-called cheating and get away with it. Prabhupada would sometimes say that the art is to punch a skunk, but without getting the smell on your hand. If you punch a skunk, you're also going to get the smell on your hand. But so similarly, if you cheat in the name of Krishna, but you're not actually sufficiently devoted to Krishna, then you'll be responsible for your cheating. And it won't please Krishna, and it won't further the preaching of Krishna consciousness, and it will not help your own spiritual life or material life if you do this cheating in a contaminated state. So this is something we have to be very careful of, not to overly take advantage of this principle of transcendental trickery. Just like formerly in ISKCON, there were issues about devotees lying or cheating in the pursuance of book distribution. And Prabhupada said different things on it. Sometimes he said, "Oh, if you make some little exaggeration, just like any salesman, a salesperson will make some exaggeration when they're selling something in order to make the sale. That's not real. That's not much of a fault. That's nothing to be held against the person." But he also said that you have to be completely truthful in selling the books, that you shouldn't lie or you shouldn't cheat, because if you do and people find out, it'll actually hurt the preaching, not help it. So this caution is always there, that maybe a little exaggeration, a little very slight, very minor bending of the rules here and there. But our general principle is to be completely honest and to completely avoid this cheating. This is special circumstances cheating. Because cheating is the basic principle of the material world. Just like another example, lust. Lust is the basic ruling principle of this material world, and we have to give up lust. And yet there's also, at the very highest stages of devotional service, there's a positive engagement in lust, in being lusty to serve Krishna, being lusty to please Krishna and engage in Krishna's service, that kind of lust. But if a contaminated person tries to engage that lust, he'll just become contaminated by material lust, and then you end up with different kinds of sahajaism and all sorts of fall down when this is not done by the proper person or with proper understanding. So cheating, this is the principle of the material world. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta explained that this world is a world of the cheaters and the cheated. And he told the story, I think Bhakti Siddhanta told this story first, Prabhupada recounted it, that there are a class of so-called imitation sannyasis and babajis who put on a saffron dress or the white lungi, and they make a show of renunciation, but their actual purpose is to convince women in that guise of being a renunciate. They collect some women disciples, and their plan is actually to have sex with them. So they're cheaters. But then there's also a class of women who think, oh, if I can have sex with a great sadhu, that's a great blessing for me. So they disguise themselves as spiritual seekers, and they go to the sadhus to have sex with them. So the sadhus are cheating, and the women who are trying to cheat by going to have sex with the sadhu are themselves being cheated, because the person they're having sex with is not a sadhu, but a cheater. So this world is the world of the cheaters and the cheated. The very principle of Maya, the very principle of the illusory energy of Krishna is based on cheating. That the living entity is thinking, I want to enjoy, I want to be supreme. Ishwaraham aham bogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. I want to be the supreme, I want to be the controller, I want to be the enjoyer. And Maya tempts them. If we want to personify Maya, Maya tempts the living entity, come, and you can enjoy, and you can be supreme, and you can be the controller, and you can have so much wealth and so much sense gratification and so much happiness. And the living entity foolishly, we're cheated by this presentation of Maya, and we go to enjoy, and the result is just smash, over and over, smash. Either you don't get the happiness or control, or you get it for a little while and then it's stolen away from you. So this is cheating. This is what cheating means. When you expect one thing, or you think you deserve or want one thing, and someone presents to you, yes, I'll give you this thing you want, and you're cheated and you get something else. Just like if you purchase something, we may have had the experience then where we see something advertised. Oh, this is the greatest of this type of product. And you think, okay, it's a great product. I want a great product. And you spend some money and you get it. And when it finally comes, you find out it's a piece of junk. Either it doesn't work as advertised, or it breaks after a week, or whatever. So this is cheating. You expect one thing, you get another. Or we use the term cheating colloquially in marriage or in romantic relationships. That if you think you have a romantic relationship with your partner, and then you find out, oh, your partner has been having another relationship with some other person behind your back, we say this is cheating, because you're expecting one thing, and the thing you're getting is not the real thing. And the thing you actually want is being taken away from you. So this is cheating. That's what this principle of cheating is in the material world, that we're expecting this one thing and getting another thing. What was his name? That person who got cheated who was the big cheater in the stock market, and he went to jail. The name's escaping me now. He said, oh, invest your money with me and you'll get such big returns on your investment. But he cheated them and he stole their money, and the people who invested their thousands and millions of dollars lost their money. And so anyway, this is the principle. Material life, this cheating, so much cheating is going on. Like I said, Maya is cheating us. There's one very nice, very funny instance. Prabhupada is giving a lecture. I think it was in San Francisco. And he's giving the lecture, and it's near the end of the talk, maybe in the question and answer period. And you hear outside, you could actually hear it on the recording of the class. You hear the bells ringing. The music from I actually hear it, not so much now because it's fall, but in the summer, I hear it right outside my window here in the Philly Temple, the ice cream truck going by, the Mr. Softy truck, and the song is playing, the bells are ringing to play the song. And on this tape, you could hear Prabhupada giving a talk, and then this music from the ice cream truck going by. And Prabhupada, he didn't know ice cream truck. He said, what is that? What is that music? And the devotee said, oh, it's they're selling ice cream, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada goes, oh, you are taking ice cream? And the boy said, no, they're driving the truck by and they advertise like that. He said, oh, they're canvassing to sell ice cream. And then he laughed and he said, this is Maya. Come and enjoy, come and enjoy. I have a section from that class. After the devotee explained what the ice cream truck was, Prabhupada laughs and he says, come on, enjoy me. Come on, enjoy me. As soon as you enjoy, you become entrapped. So this is the cheating principle. You want to enjoy, but instead you become entrapped. That's all. Just like fishing tackle. They throw the tackle and invite the fish. Come on, enjoy me. Come on, enjoy me. And as soon as the fish comes, bah, finished. Then, where you will go now? Come in my bag. Yes, I will fry you nicely. So the fish in the water sees a worm and think, oh, a delicious worm I'm going to enjoy. But as soon as he goes to eat the worm, the hook is in his mouth and he's trapped. And the fisherman reels him in, right? Those of us who have the misfortune to have experienced fishing in the past know this. You catch the fish and you're turning the spool and pulling the fish in. And the poor fish, he just wanted some happiness. He just wanted a meal. And he's trapped and he's being dragged in by his senses and trapped. And the fisherman grabs him and throws him in the bucket and takes him home and fries him. This is the cheating principle. And Prabhupada explains this is also in the Bhagavatam, that different animals are trapped or cheated by different senses. Just like the fish sees the worm. So the fish is entrapped by its sense of taste. The elephant is entrapped by its genitals. And Prabhupada explains that the method was to take a female elephant that you had caught and to tie it down in a place. And the male elephant will come and see, oh, a beautiful female elephant, let me enjoy. And when he comes to try and enjoy with the female elephant, then he's trapped. And the poacher or the animal trapper captures the male elephant in this way. So the elephant is trapped by his genitals. What are the other, I can't remember the other, another animal's trapped by its sense of smell, another by its sense of hearing. Oh yeah, the deer is trapped by its sense of hearing. He says that there are a class of hunters that they could go into the forest and play a flute and play the flute song in such a beautiful way that the deer become stunned. And when they become stunned like that, then the hunter can shoot the arrow and trap him. Or just like now, they have duck hunters, right? They play their whatever it is, they have their duck calls or their bird calls, and you play the calls and the birds become cheated. Oh, here's another of my species, but instead he's just shot by the arrow or shot by the bullet. So in this way, all of this cheating is going on. And the end of that story is that these animals are all trapped. One animal trapped by this sense, one animal trapped by this sense. But human beings are so, Prabhupada said, human beings are so advanced, he was saying advanced sarcastically, but humans are so advanced that they become entrapped by all of their senses. So this is the cheating of this material world. The horrible cheating, this cheating principle is at the root of material life. But the great souls also cheat. And even Krishna himself cheats. And this cheating is different. Just like we talked in previous weeks about how being a dog is a negative thing, a degraded thing. But being the dog of Krishna or the dog of the Vaishnava is an elevated thing. So cheating is the degrading principle of material life. But there's also cheating by Krishna and cheating by the great souls. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear preaching from Ramananda Roy about philosophy of Krishna consciousness and through all the different levels of Krishna consciousness, all the way up to the description of Radhika and her pastimes with Krishna, Ramananda Roy didn't want to. He came from so-called lower caste, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a Brahmana and a sannyasi. So he was hesitant to preach to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu said, no, don't, you're cheating me. By not preaching to me, you're cheating me. Don't cheat me by treating me as a sannyasi. You're qualified. You know all about Radha and Krishna, so tell me about it. Or Krishna himself being a cheater. We have Sikshashtakam describing Krishna as a cheater. Ashlishava padaratam penastumam adarshana marmahatam kurotuva yata tatava vididatu lampato mat prana natas tu saeva napara. Padaratam, the devotee, Radharani herself, and also Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani are saying, Padaratam, I have fallen at your feet. I have surrendered myself at your lotus feet, bowing down at your lotus feet. And Krishna, you can bless me with those lotus feet, or you could trample me with those lotus feet. Either way. Adarshana marmahatam kurotuva. You can, adarshanam, you could not be present before me. Adarshana means don't give me your darshan. And marmahatam kurotuva, and by doing so, you'll break my heart. You're going to crack my heart by not being present before me. Or you could trample me, or bless me, trample me, be present before me, let me see your beauty, or deny me that vision. Yata tata vididantu lapito. It doesn't matter, because after all, we know, Krishna, that you are a big cheater. You are a big debauchee. So of course you're going to do one, you're going to do the other. And anything can be expected from you, Krishna. Whatever you do, you could bless me or kick me. You could be present before me or not. Or as Radharani may say, she wants Krishna, but Krishna may go off and enjoy with another gopi. And she says, you're a cheater, Lampata. You're a cheater, you're a debauchee. But what's the conclusion? Mat prana natas tu se eva napara. None of that matters. Mat prana nat. You are still the Lord of my life. So Krishna cheats. Krishna will cheat his devotee. Prabhupada was in the 1950s when he started Back to Godhead magazine, and he would be preaching in the streets of Delhi and in the tea stalls, and just like devotees go on Sankirtan now, Prabhupada was doing a Back to Godhead magazine. And one time he was walking in the streets of Delhi, and he was knocked down and gored by a street cow. And he was knocked to the ground like that and hurt. And he thought within his mind, oh, Krishna, I'm your devotee. I'm trying to serve you. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you presenting this difficulty to me? So he was, in one sense, feeling cheated or not understanding that I'm serving you, but you're giving me these reversals. Don't cheat me. What other examples? Oh, highest example of all, Krishna admits being a cheater. At the time of the Rasa dance, Krishna calls all the gopis to, plays his flute, and they all leave their homes, and they leave their husbands and their parents and even their children, leave everything behind and run out to the forest to be with Krishna. And what does Krishna do? He disappears. In modern parlance, we might say he ghosted them, right? This is the lingo now, right? When you have a boyfriend or girlfriend and then you won't talk to them or won't see them or disappear from them or won't text them, you ghosted them. So Krishna ghosted the gopis. He called them out. He enticed them. Come to playing his flute. Come to the forest. Be with me. Dance with me. Enjoy with me. And he comes and he disappears. He cheated them. What extreme cheating this is, that he specifically called them and then he disappeared. And when he did that, the gopis went mad. Practically speaking, they went insane in love of Krishna, imitating Krishna's pastimes and talking to the trees and talking to the animals of the Vrindavan forest. Where is Krishna? Tell us where. Speaking to the deer. Oh deer, you dear, you're always with Krishna in the forest. Can you tell us where Krishna is? So they went so mad in love of Krishna. And then when Krishna reappeared before them, he admitted that he was a cheater. He said, Napareham niravadya samyuja, that you've given everything and you've loved me so much. And I am such a cheater that I am unable to reciprocate properly to you. I can't repay you properly for what you've given me. I am deficient. I am a deceiver, a cheater. And the devotees accept that. And we glorify Krishna in this way, that the gopis' love is so amazing, so intense, that even Krishna cannot properly reciprocate. So this is that spiritual cheating of Krishna that we worship and that we love, and that is this pure cheating is at the center, just like the material cheating is at the center of our material contamination. The spiritual cheating is at the center of these higher understandings of loving Krishna. And specifically looking at Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya is feeling cheated because Dhritarashtra left. So when the spiritual master leaves, when the spiritual master disappears from our vision, when Prabhupada left, the devotee also feels cheated. In the Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto, there's the pastime, the allegory of Paranjana. And in his next life, Paranjana became Paranjani or Vidarbhi, the princess of Vidarbha kingdom, and was married to the great king Malayadwaj. And after many years, Malayadwaj, just like Dhritarashtra, left everything and went to the forest. So Malayadwaj and his wife Paranjani went to the forest to finish off his life and perform austerities. And after some time of that, Malayadwaj died. And Paranjani lamented like anything. Oh, you've left me all alone. She didn't use the words, you cheated me, but we could understand this, that she had her full faith and her full love and devotion in the king Malayadwaj. And then he left. That person who she put everything upon, who she gave all her love to, is now gone. So when the spiritual master leaves, and Prabhupada made it clear in the purports that this is an allegory for the disciple and spiritual master relationship. And as Paranjani was crying, the disciple cries when the spiritual master leaves. So we can feel cheated also when the spiritual master leaves. This is a kind of cheating. Prabhupada founded this ISKCON movement. And he never made ISKCON a cult of personality. He never made ISKCON about himself at the top. And yet for his disciples, for his followers, Prabhupada was everything for those devotees. So when he left, how cheated, how disappointed they felt, or even we who are coming after, how disappointed we can feel. I've mentally kicked myself a million times. I was living in New York in the 1970s, years before I became a devotee. But I could have gone to New York. I could have gone to Brooklyn. I could have gone to Lower East Side. I was a teenager. I was pre-teenager, and then by the time of like the Henry Street Temple, I was a teenager. I was going to New York. I would go to New York for movies, for concerts and such things. I could have gone to New York and gone to the Lower East Side or gone to Brooklyn. I could have seen Prabhupada, but I didn't. So even now I'm feeling cheated, 50, 60, what is 1960, 40, almost 60 years later, I'm still feeling cheated. Even though I'm the one I cheated myself, but I'm feeling cheated like that. So what to speak of those who had Prabhupada as in person in their lives, and then he disappeared. We've heard before probably how when Prabhupada was very ill near the ends of his life, and the devotees were so sad and so depressed, and Prabhupada was his health was declining and he was becoming withdrawn. And then some devotees approached Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you're just preparing to leave. And he said, you're a devotee of Krishna. If you ask Krishna, he can let you stay. He can enable you to stay. Ask Krishna. And Prabhupada's comment was something like, that you decide. So the devotees were wondering what that meant, and they had a conference. The GBC devotees at the time who were there had a conference, and they thought, let us decide. We decide that we want Prabhupada to stay. So they went back to Prabhupada and said, we want you to stay. We're begging you to stay. Ask Krishna to let you stay. And Prabhupada said, all right. And he was practically not eating anything. So at that time he started drinking a little juice, and he became a little more active and enlivened in his service. So he was responding to the love and the prayer of the devotees. And yet at the same time, that didn't last forever. After that brief period of hope and respite and even a little bit of recovery, Krishna's desire is there, Krishna's plan is there, the time factor is there, and Prabhupada's own will is there. And again, his health declined and he passed away. So how cheated, how disappointed must the devotees have felt? I wasn't there, I can't imagine. And yet I'm constantly trying to imagine what that feeling was, that, the emotions, the churning of the emotions and the love and the disappointment. So you could feel cheated. But if you think, oh, Prabhupada cheated me, I'm going away, then that's not understanding the cheating. If you think that, oh, Prabhupada cheated me in order to increase my love for him, in order to increase my attachment and dedication to his ISKCON movement, in order to increase my love and my service to him, this is the divine cheating. And that cheating is actually not cheating. Just like Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and Gandhari cheated them, but it wasn't cheating. It was actually for the ultimate benefit of everyone. Even the spiritual master leaves. This is the opportunity for the disciple to grow up. We're always children. Guru more murka deki karila shashan. We always consider ourselves incompetent, foolish children before the spiritual master. And yet the disciple, in another sense, the disciple has to grow up and become responsible and become an adult. And so this is also part of growing up in devotional service, that the cheating of the spiritual master by leaving is also the opportunity for us to become, responsible, mature, adult devotees. So even we feel cheated, we go on. And if we understand this properly, then we see that it's actually not cheating at all. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, before the Srimad Bhagavatam even starts, on the first page of the first canto, Prabhupada has a dedication page. And the dedication is this, from the very beginning of the Bhagavatam. To Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master, on the 26th annual ceremony of his disappearance day. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. So we think, Sanjaya is thinking, oh, I'm cheated. My beloved Dhritarashtra has gone away. Or we may think, oh, I'm cheated. Prabhupada has gone away. But he lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. This nullifies the cheating. It's not cheating. It's rather the chance, giving the opportunity for eternal union. Prabhupada said, talking about, someone asked Prabhupada, will such and such devotee go back to Godhead? And Prabhupada said, yes, why not? He'll go back to Godhead, and you'll go back to Godhead, and you'll go back to Godhead, and you'll go back to Godhead. We'll all go back to Godhead. And then he said, but Mr. Nair will have to stay. Mr. Nair was Prabhupada said jokingly, this is the person who was very much trying to cheat Prabhupada and the devotees in the purchase and development of the Bombay property, which became the Bombay Temple. And he was such a rascal and such a demonic person. So Prabhupada said, yes, all of you will all go back to Godhead, but he'll have to stay. So the disappearance of a devotee, how sad is it? I've personally known several devotees who have passed away, and it's so sad. And I've something else, I've also kicked myself a million times that, oh, if I had taken more advantage of those devotees association before they had passed away. So they cheated. I feel like, oh, they cheated me by dying, by leaving, by going away. And I also cheated by not taking advantage when they were present. But what can I do? I can take Krishna consciousness so seriously that at the end of this life, or more likely for me at the end of some future life, 1 life, 5, 10, 100,000 million, I can't predict. But eventually, if I take it as Krishna consciousness, I'll attain Krishna. I'll go back to Godhead. And all these devotees that I lost will all be together again serving Krishna. And in this way, to cheating, the so-called bad effects of cheating are nullified. So the cheating of the devotees is all for this advancement in Krishna consciousness. And the cheating of the material world with its ill motivation and its ill effect is all for the degradation of our position in this material world. So, let's see. One more letter. There's a letter from Srila Prabhupada to a devotee, Bhakti Jana, who was living in Puerto Rico at the time. And he wrote in that letter, he said, "You do not require to worry, as I shall never leave you. You are my disciple, and I am your spiritual master. So there is no question, as long as you follow my instructions, that I shall ever leave you. Just remember, under all circumstances, to chant 16 rounds of japa daily, offer your prasadam to Krishna, and do all the things which you already know, as you are a senior disciple." So this is so beautiful that Prabhupada will never leave. You think, oh, we're cheated. I didn't see Prabhupada. And I'll still think like that I didn't see Prabhupada. I could have seen Prabhupada, but I never saw him. I never met him. I never took initiation. But I can also be confident he'll never leave me. As long as I'm following, I'm chanting, I'm offering my food, and do all the things which you already know as your senior disciple. So this is also always talking, when the spiritual master disappears, the disciple matures and grows up, becomes a senior disciple. And then you know these things, you know what you need to do. You know what you're supposed to do to please Prabhupada, to please Krishna. And even in the state of being apart from Krishna and Prabhupada, we know the methods how to actually be with them in that so-called separation. So this is how the cheating becomes resolved, becomes nullified, and becomes all auspicious in spiritual life. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Is there any question or comment or discussion?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful session morning today. So it was really wonderfully you know very well explained about the transcendental cheating. Generally, we take the cheating always in a bad sense, but this cheating, transcendental cheating, is always pleasure to the Lord. Even Lord cheated everything. Bilva Mangala Thakur says in that Chaura Gaganyam Purusam Namami. So thank you so very much, Prabhuji, for wonderful
Hare
session.
Krishna.
Yeah, dear devotees, if any comment or question, please unmute yourself, or you can go ahead and ask to Prabhu, or you can raise the hand. Either way, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Is there any announcements or official temple news we need to hear about today?
So I don't have any announcement, passed to me, Prabhuji. So I think as regular there will be, Bhagavad Gita sessions going on. So that lecture will be there. And,
Okay.
Do not see any special announcement. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we are good for this morning.
Announcement: Sunday feast.
Yeah.
Sunday lecture, and maybe that's a big announcement, right? Actually, Sunday feast.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe we're going back to the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita today, if there's no other festival. And of course, Damodarashtakam and offering a lamp to the Lord is going on. Yes. So thank you very much for your kind attention, everybody. Everyone have a good day.
Good day.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvayeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.